Mendes and Kinnear were very sharp. I think out of the gate, Mendes was as crisp with the pure stuff as I've ever seen him. And you're talking 5 pitches. I thought all 5 of the pitches were above average. The fastball, I think we saw it up to 96. We had seen that before, but we hadn't seen it in season, I don't think, to this point. The cutter was as good as we've ever seen it. I thought the slider was very good, and it has been good. Landed some curveballs, and the changeup was effective. So that's a lot to throw at Northern Kentucky, and they handled it. You can see they play clean baseball. They know exactly what they're doing. They mix and match on the mound. It's effective, and you can see why they win a lot of games. To get Kinnear after the left-handed look they saw with Mendes, I thought Chris was on it again with the slider. The slider has really good traits to it metrically, and the arm angle, the over-the-top look, it's tough. So those were 2 good ones. And we talk a lot about game control, and there's multiple ways you're trying to control games. Good defense, good plate discipline, good smart base running. The ultimate game control is when you can punch people out on the mound. When you have stuff that's executed and you can rack up strikeouts, that's the best way that you can control the game and the sport. And we did that tonight. And we sporadically had good at-bats. We punch out the side in the first and get off the field, and Chef hits another home run, get us going. And there were a lot of ones on the board, I guess 7 of them, and there's a goose egg in the 5th inning. So good. Clearly concerned about some of the at-bats and the recognition, the pitch selection, the decision-making, all of that. Like, you guys know this, and I'm concerned, and we've got to grow through some of it. But Bavaro had some good at-bats. I thought in the 2nd inning, the ball he hit to right center, Polino was on third base after his double, I believe, and that was a deep 2-strike at-bat, and he stayed on the ball. We've seen him do that. That was nice, and then the home run later in the game for him. He's playing with confidence, and good for him. He earned his opportunity and is taking full advantage. So proud of the game. We did control the game in some respect, but you never felt like they were out of the game. I felt like our guys were pitching well and we were playing good enough defense, but the strikeouts clearly were the story, and that ultimately makes you feel like you are more in control than the scoreboard might indicate.
Hey, Coach. Despite his wild pitch in the top of the 3rd, how do you feel about Wes Mendes' performance, able to recover, and knowing that he's able to get a career-high 12 strikeouts?
I thought it was the best display of stuff I've seen from him. Now, we've seen flashes here and there. I've probably seen that stuff throughout his time here. I don't know that I've seen it put together in one outing where all of it was on display at an extremely high level. And then, he stacked a couple things. Unfortunately, they threatened. You're looking at the stuff he was featuring, and they're still threatening because he got himself in trouble in some counts, and not bad pitches, but walked a guy and then I think walked another guy. And then in the other inning, I think he walked a guy. I can't remember if that's when they got the hit. But the only 2 times they really threatened, it was him stacking a couple unfortunate sequences or good at-bats by them. But all in all, exceptional. The bunt play, he had more time. He's so athletic. He could be a really good outfielder with his athleticism and speed. So he gets off the mound really well. He had more time to gather and finish that throw than I think he realized.
Dowd's been banged up, Brody dealing with his issues. You've been without guys here and there this year. How many games this year have you had the lineup that you thought you have, or do you even know what that is at this point?
I mean, 1 or 2, maybe. I don't know. And the ebbs and flows of this, you can look at a lot of seasons, and rarely do you ever have everything clicking on all cylinders from a health perspective, unfortunately. But this is tough. Dowd took some BP. DeLam's an interesting thing with the concussion protocol and how that works. And you can't have 2 better at-bats when you go backside double and backside home run, and then you're out of there. Like, the poor guy has battled so much in his time here, and you can see it's there for the taking how much he has developed. So it's tough, but they're trying to work their way back. Dowd took some BP today, so I think we're close to getting him back, and we do need that bat and that outfielder would just help the overall product, I believe. And he's older and experienced, so it'll be nice when when Dowd's back, and clearly when DeLamalure can really get through the concussion protocol.
Kind of like Will Bavaro, what are you trying to say to him to kind of keep this momentum going?
Not a lot right now. I just kind of we got to let him go. Now, pitch selection, our right-handed hitters, the pitch selection, the approach, the discipline, the recognition, the lane, the boundaries, the up-down vertical feel for things, concerned. And he's in that bucket too. Like, he chased some things, and I just think as a whole our right-handed hitters. And there's not a ton of experience in that group. Putnam probably has the most, but we've got to pivot and mature and grow through some of that. But Will works very hard. He wanted to play. He's expressed that like he wants to. They all want to play, but you find your moments, and you want the guys when they get their chance to be in a spot and be comfortable with their opportunity, especially the initial exposure to this. And he's taken it, and what he's doing out there, we saw him do. So this isn't the first time we've seen it. It's just the first time he's been able to display it in the lineup on a consistent basis for 2 games at least.
Is Gabe out for?
Gabe's out, battling something. He's out. Yeah.
Coach, when do you expect Jason Estes back to the lineup? Do you have a timeline?
It'll be a few weeks. Like, there's nothing they needed to do. It's just now a rest thing, and there's a time allotment for the injury he has, but then it really transitions to what he feels like he can do.
Does that feel like a pretty good case? Did it seem pretty 50-50 on his stats after that?
What's that now?
Is it like a good development? Is that a surprise development that he'll be ready in a few weeks?
Oh, I think it's good. I think it's good because when you start doing x-rays and the diagnostics and the MRIs, and you're looking at the leg and you saw how that happened, I'm really concerned. So I think, all things considered, that's probably the best outcome you could have for an injury that's not a minor injury, but it could be far worse.
Anything else for Coach? Coach, how do you feel about Chase Williams' development over the course of the season? I've noticed his batting average is definitely getting higher and higher with every passing day.
He's coming along, and he battled a very difficult injury, very difficult, that required a repair. Difficult stuff when you slide in there and the shoulder was bothering him. So it's good to see him, number one, back out there. And sometimes you have to play to feel and learn and make any adjustments that you need to make. And we're trying to do some things just to simplify his swing. He really took to that nicely, and we know that the bunt stuff is there when needed, and it's needed a lot with him because it's such a threat. So we've taken steps in the right direction, and his performance and productivity has clearly stepped up.
What's it like seeing the development of Noah Sheffield with him getting another home run in a short amount of time?
It's great. We always sense the pitch recognition. I know I ranted about pitch recognition and discipline. He always shows signs of being able to recognize and make some pretty good swing decisions, and it's a very flat, impactful level swing. And then as they learn in game to stay inside some of those things or get the breaking ball and make sure that thing's up, you grow into maybe a little bit more lift without truly trying to lift the ball. They don't need to try to lift it. The launch angle of the ball is essentially dictated by the pitch and how you impact it and the spin and the angle. It's not necessarily the way you're trying to lift it and strike it. So that bat's in a good spot, and he stayed inside it a little bit, and we've seen some of those balls carry and elevate a little bit more versus the line drives into left field in the 6-hole shortstop stuff. So good, positive.